My name is Jan Mills and I'm from British Columbia, Canada. I'm thrilled to tell you that I was first introduced to the Thorpe Institute and the amazing equipment that they have to offer through Sauna Vive. I was at Sauna Vive because of some real health challenges that I was having, further to having been diagnosed with multiple sclerosis 23 years ago. I went to Sauna Vive, and Sauna Vive suggested the electroacuoscope and the myopulse. It was amazing how helpful it was for reducing my pain and also improving my walk and my balance. The side benefit to that was when I got home, my husband was really intrigued to see how much it had benefited me. And so he thought, well, if that helps Jan with the MS and her back, maybe it'll help me with my knee problems. He was scheduled for knee surgery. And so right after the knee surgery, he ended up having treatment with the electroacuoscope and the myopulse. And it was so helpful in speeding up his recovery time. And now, whenever he has any problems from golfing, because he's a professional golfer, every once in a while injury comes up, and we treat with this equipment, immediately relieves the pain. And so we're really grateful for the benefits this has brought to us and the fact that we can share it with other people. So now we're sharing that message with people throughout North America, and it's just made such a huge difference that it even has helped me now to no longer require the Botox injections I was getting in my legs for the multiple sclerosis. And that's a big savings, not only in dollars, but all kinds of poisons that I'd rather not be putting into my body. I'm thrilled that now I'm healing it with the wonders of electromyopulse and the Acuscope.
I'm Barb Hines.
And I'm Bob Hines. And we're from Raleigh, North Carolina. Well, Barb has multiple sclerosis, and she's had it for
25 years?
25 years now. We've tried all the alternatives, and we've had really no success with any of the medicines. Barbara was seeing, getting some positive results from the Acuscope myopulse, so she kept going back to it and kept going back to it and kept going back to it. In fact, the one day we went up to the room and she said, "Oh, watch this," and she just lifts her leg all the way up, her bad leg, which she drags. And that was some pretty good evidence that we needed to pursue, some further treatment. Mm-hmm. A typical MS patient loses feelings in their extremities first, which would be your feet and your hands. And during the middle of doing it, she says, "Wow, I'm getting sensation. I'm feeling tingling in my fingers." So that is very, very positive. Through the class, we have enough knowledge now where we can go home, go through the basic procedures that we've learned, from the instructors, and we'll be able to positively, increase Barbara's quality of life. I've committed to John that we're going to keep a daily log, but at least if we can document, where we've been, that might help somebody else down the road, which I think would be a great thing.
I've been involved with Thorpe Institute and John Thorpe for the last 10 years. I was trained by him very thoroughly. It's very important to get that proper training. I have a son who was diagnosed with asthma at the age of 2.5, and he was put on 5 medications, including an inhaled steroid and an oral steroid, and he was only 8. And I could not find anything to work. So we came across the Acuscope, myopulse. I called up John. I asked him if I could bring my son out for some treatments. It was so successful after the first 4 treatments, he went medicine-free for the next 6 weeks. So immediately we bought the machine. I flew back here to get trained and went back to my son and just performed about 3 weeks worth of treatments on him, on his acupuncture points, on his lung meridian. And in 3 months he was off of all 5 medications and has never been back on a daily medication for asthma ever again. He's a freshman in high school. He's concerned that he's not going to look okay, he's not going to speak okay, that he might end up in a wheelchair. We found out that it was MS. I treated him aggressively for 2 weeks, and within 8 weeks, he had 16 lesions on the brain, 2 on the spinal cord and 1 on the optic nerve. It was exactly 8 weeks from his second MRI to his third MRI while I was treating him that the MRI showed that these 16 lesions, all 16 of them, were remyelinating already. It's unheard of. We use the machine on a regular basis, just down to once a week now, and he is a complete success story, and he just played a game of rugby yesterday. He's working out today after school. You see people that have had MS for 23 years that are just coming now to get the machine, and their bodies have been ravaged. Imagine had they gone in and their first diagnosis of MS would have been treated with this machine, it would have never progressed, and their bodies would be completely restored and healed. Instead, they're coming back from such a deficit. And if these machines were just out there available on a first diagnosis, you know, we are a society that says if you catch it early, it's easily treatable. Well, let's catch it with the right instrument. Let's catch it with somebody who knows what they're doing with it, and let's put it to use. Let's try this non-invasive, non-pharmaceutical way before we start polluting the body in these other ways. We have the utmost trust in this, and I am convinced that he will never be an MS patient.